Good evening, and welcome to this summer edition of the book review. We're glad that you could join in and tune in at this time and even quite early. So I'd like to welcome everybody once again to yet another book review, our August 2023 book review. But before we go into the book review proper, I know that we have new people who have joined this book review to this evening. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the TRI-METROPOLITAN Book Club, especially for those who are just joining for the very first time. The TRI-METROPOLITAN Book Club commenced in October 2021, and it has been a fantabulous experience since then. The feedback has been awesome, and we're truly excited in bringing a reading culture back to our society. The book reviews actually hold every third Saturday of the month, but in exceptional cases like today, we have it on the fourth Saturday. The book club is an initiative of Trinity House, and Trinity House is a free-flow worship center powered with a vision to changing lives, fulfilling destinies, and transforming nations. So once again, I'd like to welcome you all to this session, the Summer Edition 2023. And we've had an awesome experience reviewing various books in the last 22 months or thereabout. For the benefit of those who are just joining for the very first time today, we've had about 20 book reviews thus far, and you can become a member of the TRI-METROPOLITAN Club by sending a WhatsApp message to some numbers which will be displayed in the chat room during this review. So very quickly, without boring you, I'd like to take us through our book review journey. The first book review held in October 2021, and we reviewed a book by late Dr. Miles Monroe titled The Power of Character in Leadership. Pastor Remy Morgan was our guest who reviewed the book back then, and it was truly an amazing first book review. Mr. Rotimi Adefarasi review a book by Rick Warren titled What on Earth Am I Here For? The Purpose-Driven Life. I think we should get the book and just read up if we have never come across it. It's quite insightful. Our third book review, where we had our first female reviewer or guest, was a book authored by late Bob Buford. Mrs. Onyade Adegite did justice to that book, and she was magnanimous and generous to even give out books to participants who did not have the opportunity to read it before the review. It was an awesome evening also with Mrs. Onyade Adegite. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell is a book most of us might be familiar with, and Mr. Michael Ego dissected the book and gave us some nuggets that I will not forget anytime soon. The fifth book review, very quickly, was a book written by a female author. That was the first female author that we had, Cinda Trim, and Mrs. Omoshalewa Fajobi gave us insights on that book titled Persevere Until Something Happens, Push Through Prayer. What a life-transforming evening we had that day. The sixth book review held in May last year, and we delved into a book titled When Pleasing Others is Hurting You. We had Mr. Taiwo Gabriel with us virtually, and it was all shades of amazing. We need to take our health seriously, as it is important even as we get older. So we are mindful of the fact that, we need to put our bodies right, so to speak. And we had Dr. Atinuke Uwaje, who took us through the book review, 4 blood types, 4 diets, Eat Right for Your Type, authored by Dr. Peter Dadamo. I have been eating vegetables since then and lots of fruits. Sometimes people tell me, oh, you're looking fresh, or you've lost a bit of weight. Are you on a diet? I'm just trying to eat right. It was really a good session, and even the book was quite interesting. It's always good for us to live healthy lives, even, like I said, even as we grow older. Mr. Austin Olorunshola took us through the 8th book review on Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek at the beginning of summer last year, right about this time. And we are actually thinking of bringing him back for another review. Such an eloquent and amiable gentleman with a lot of wisdom. The power of self-discipline is a topic that is very important, and we had Mr. Wale Agbenyogi discuss that through a book by Brian Tracy. Mr. Agbenyogi, a financial expert, took us through that journey, and we cannot thank him enough for an insightful evening last year. Then we had the Power Book Review, the 10th one, which was the beginning of our first anniversary celebrations. TRI-METROPOLITAN was one in October last year, and we had Mr. Wale Oyedeji, who took us through the book by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. It was it was a very fantastic evening. Then the icing on the cake was our first physical book review in November, which was still in celebration of our first anniversary. The physical book review held at the Cilantro restaurant with Professor Wale Soyinka. Needless to say, and like I always say, it was indeed a magical evening. So the beginning of this year found us reviewing a book by an author himself, just like Professor Wale Soyinka reviewed his own book. So we had Dr. Glenn Arekion, who wrote his book titled Turning Your Dreams into Reality. Second time would have an author review his book himself. And trust me when I say we would have more of that this year, before the end of the year. We actually had one in May. I'll tell you about it shortly. Who Moved My Cheese? Yet another book most of us will be familiar with, authored by Dr. Spencer Johnson. And we had that review with our guest, Mr. Segun Akitemi. He gave us that book review in a dimension that I didn't even expect. And as always, we had fun discussing that small but interesting book about little people. We also had Mr. Bayo Ajayi as our guest, who reviewed a book titled The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It was a great book review. And I can tell us that even some of the lessons that we learned then are embedded in today's review. That's why I'm so excited about today's review. In May this year, we had a young lady review our own book, which was what I was trying to mention earlier on. It was actually the month, Children's Day month. So on that 27th of May, we had Fumike, a young lady who talked about understanding and handling your emotions the right way. So basically, she was talking through her life experiences, about her emotions and all the things she had gone through, family, work, relationships, and all of that. So really, she talked through her life experiences, and it was actually very informative. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot has happened. We're excited about bringing back a reading culture to our society with so many transforming reviews on this platform. And so today, we have our guest, a gentle, amiable, eloquent, and an intellectual by the name Professor Franklin Ungu. But before I yield the floor to him and introduce him further, I think Pastor Itua is here now. I'd like to invite Pastor Itua. We all know our senior pastor, Trinity House, who obviously needs no introduction, to please say a few words on the book and today's review. Pastor Itua, are you there? Please, the floor is open for you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Professor Tomi. Thank you for your consistency. Thank you for your love for this platform and all the energy that you put in there. The book that you're reviewing today, The Mind of a Millionaire, or Thinking Like a Millionaire.
Sorry, Pastor, I'm not sure if it's just me, but it's not audible enough. I can't really hear you.
Sorry?
It's not loud enough. I can't really hear you. I don't know if it's just me.
Oh, it's not loud enough? Is it better now?
No, sir.
Is it better now? Can you hear me now?
We can actually hear him.
Oh, yes, you can hear the okay, then it must be from my end. Okay, that's fine. Okay, go on, sir. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. I've increased my volume. It was from my end.
Okay, all right. Okay. Dr. Tomi, thank you very much for all that you've done for the book club. You've done extremely well. The book, How a Millionaire's Mind Works, or Thinking Like a Millionaire, is a really, really fantastic book. I took it on holiday with me, and I tried my best to read it. I haven't quite completed it, but it has some very good nuggets as to the difference between how ordinary people think and how people who have made a success, especially a financial success of their lives, think. First of all, no negative thoughts. You must dismiss out of your mind any form of negativity. Number two, you must be extremely, extremely focused as to what you want to do. Number three, you must be positive at all times. And then number four, what really, really, really got me was that you must reprogram your mind. That a lot of people think the way they think because their minds have been programmed by what they have learned, what they experienced, what they have taught, and what society has embedded in them. So, for example, if you lived with parents who kept on telling you that no money, no money, no money, you grow up with a mind program to think that money is impossible or difficult to earn. A lady grew up with a parents, and her mother kept on not having money and referring her to her father, and she ended up thinking that women were not designed to have money. And the person who is doing the review for us today is somebody extremely close to me, very, very well known, a man I admire very much, a great philosopher, professor of strategy. And today he's going to do justice to it. So my prof, the floor is yours. Do something really fantastic for us and something we can learn from. Tomi, God bless you.
Yes, sir.
You all have a great evening in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor Itua. Thank you, as always. Thank you for your support. I'd like to just quickly introduce our guest of today. Just read a bit of his profile so you know who he is. Prof, as I call him, Dr. Franklin Ungu, is an economist and an associate professor of strategy, corporate governance, and risk management, Lagos Business School, LBS. He's also the director of LBS Public Private Sector. He's also the director of the LBS Public Private Sector Initiative, focused on promoting more public-private sector partnership for Nigeria's sustainable and economic growth and development. He has a PhD in Law and Economics of Banking Regulation, MSc in Economics and Postgraduate Diploma in Development Economics from the University of Manchester, United Kingdom. In addition, he also has an MSc in Comparative Political Economy from Cardiff University, UK, and a BSc in Sociology from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. He has over 2 decades, 20 years of experience in teaching, private sector, policy research, and consulting, both in Nigeria and the United Kingdom. Dr. Ungu has provided consulting services to both local and international organizations and worked with Barclays Bank UK for over 5 years. In Nigeria, he has provided either training or consulting services to many firms, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the Africa Development Bank, Stanbic IBTC, First Bank of Nigeria, FBN, Guarantee Trust Bank, GT Bank PLC, Banwo and Igodalo, Coronation Group, Nigeria Stock Exchange, Nigerian Breweries, AXA Mansard, WAMCO Nigeria PLC, Airtel Nigeria, Fidelity Pension Managers Limited, South African Investment, iBanking Managers, Muka Foam, Premium Pensions, Sterling Bank, and Dangote Group. He has
just check your phone now.
Glasgow School of Business and Society, Glasgow Caledonian University, School of Built Environment and Business, University of Salford, Department of Economics and School of Law, University of Manchester, United Kingdom. Prof has multidisciplinary teaching and research interests, including business strategy and management, sustainable economic growth and development, risk management and corporate governance, bank management and regulation, law and finance, in emerging markets, and CSR, corporate social responsibility. Dr. Ungu has presented papers in international and local conferences, contributed many book chapters, and published papers in peer-reviewed journals. One of his recent papers, Growing Cross-Border Banking in Sub-Saharan Africa and the Need for a Regional Centralized Regulatory Authority, was published by the Journal of Banking Regulation. He is the author of 4 governance and sustainable development handbooks, Corporate Governance in Developing and Emerging Markets, Enhanced Board Effectiveness, Institutional, Regulatory, and Functional Perspectives for Developing and Emerging Markets, Routledge 2019. Corporate Social Responsibility in Developing and Emerging Market Institutions, Sectors and Sustainable Development, Cambridge University Press, and CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility in Developing and Emerging Markets, Innovative Public and Private Regulation Dimensions. He is working on his 5th book right now, the Cambridge Handbook on Banking in Africa, and the 6th one, Managing Family-Owned Businesses in Developing and Emerging Markets, Strategies that Work to be published by Cambridge University Press and Routledge, Taylor and Francis, respectively. Prof is the co-chair Private Sector Advisory Group Board on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, board member of Caritas Foundation of Nigeria, focused on intervening in critical areas such as education, health, poverty for inclusive and sustainable development of Nigeria, advisory board, leading edge consulting group, and former independent non-executive director, Access Pension Fund custodian. He is also a member of several bodies, including the Society of Corporate Governance Nigeria, British Academy of Management, Risk Managers Association of Nigeria, Riemann, and Expert Network World Economic Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Please may I invite Prof to the floor so that we can start the book review. I know that we cannot put our hands together for him, but I'm doing this on everybody's behalf. We have read his very brief profile, very, very heavy, and I'm very glad that he honored our invitation. Dr. Franklin Ugu, you can unmute. We will see you via your video, and thank you once again for coming, and the floor is yours right now. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tomi, and good evening, everyone. And I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. And I don't know how to start, but I will say that I think it's a combination of prayers of Pastor Itua and Dr. Tomi's coercion, pressure, force, and appeals that made me to say I will review the book. But let me first of all say that I think there's something that they call serendipity, positive accident. I am happy with Dr. Tomi, and I'm also not happy. I am happy that she pressured and did everything to make me to agree to review this book. Sometimes you will call me, send text messages, send both WhatsApp and normal text messages, call back again. In fact, saying no was not an option. But why I'm not happy is that she remembered me to review this book now. I think I would have preferred that I reviewed this book maybe 10 years ago or 5 years ago, because I think I would have been a millionaire or a billionaire by now if I reviewed this book 10 years ago. Because going through the book, I keep wondering, I keep saying, all these books you say you've been reading, all these books you say you've been reading, and you've not read this particular book, it means that you've not really started. So thank you very much. I am really, really grateful, pleased, and I'm not sure I can repay back what I've learned from this book. It's such an amazing book. Let me also say that since I was given this book to review and I started reading it, I have recommended it to over 100 people. In fact, I was doing a retreat for a company and they had about 30 people in the room. And I told them that before we start the retreat that they should go and buy the book and give to everybody. And they went out and bought 30 copies and gave to everyone in the retreat. So the book is, I don't know how to start talking about this book, but it's just such a very interesting, insightful, and it's something you have to have with you at every point in time. It combines spiritual, psychological, social, economic, just to mention but it's just a compendium of so many things. Well, of course, we've read the book, we've gone through the book. It's the title is The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth, and is written by T. Harv Eker. If they ask me what is in this book, I will say that the book is like a combination of all you need to succeed in life. Even if you don't want to have money, even if you don't want to be rich, even if you decide that you want to be a poor person, there are other non-wealthy issues that we can learn from this book. It's such an amazing book. It's divided into two parts. The first part talks about the key issues relating to our mind. And then the second part focuses on what it calls word files. But in total, is about 203 pages, with the first part covering about 9 principles of wealth and about 9 to 10 principles of wealth. And the second part covering about 34 principles of wealth. So it has about 44 principles of wealth in total. But what I can say also that the key takeaways can be said to be from the what we can call the will I say word files. So it has principles and it has files. And that word files contains about 17 files, which we're going to review today. But just looking at part one from the word principle, the first principle is your income can grow only to the extent that you want it to grow. And principle number 2 says, if you want to change the fruits, you will have to change the roots. And if you want to change the visible, you must first change the invisible. And principle 3 says that money is a result, wealth is a result, health is a result, illness is a result, your weight is a result. We live in a world of cause and effect. And the fourth principle says, give me 5 minutes and I can predict your financial future for the rest of your life. Your blueprint determines your financial destiny. And the fifth principle says, thoughts lead to feeling, feeling lead to actions, and actions lead to results. And the sixth one says, when the subconscious mind must choose between deeply rooted emotions and logic, emotions will always win. So these 6 principles, when I went through the book and read these principles, I was wondering, did this man, is he in Nigeria? As I thought through it, it seemed to me that the man actually, maybe he lived in my village. And possibly I said maybe, but his name does not really sound like my village people. And I said maybe he's the mother or something like that. There's something in him that just tells me that he understands my village and understands my town and even understands my family as well. Because basically what he's saying with this principle is to say that what we want to be is what we be, but everything depends on how we think and what is on our mind. And in on page 17, he talks about, which I just reviewed now, that thoughts lead to feelings, and feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results. But he went further to say that these thoughts will come from what is called our mental programming. And that's what Pastor Itua earlier said. I also thought, I was hoping and waiting that Pastor Itua would have prayed for me to give me the spiritual guidance to review this book very well. But I think that maybe the other prayers he has done before might help me, because the book is so rich. So what he's saying is that our mind actually determines a lot. Because you must think about something. And thinking about that something will lead to your feelings. And from that feelings, maybe when you are sleeping, the thoughts will come, the feelings will start coming. And you will say, when I get up in the morning, I'm going to do something. So that feelings will lead to actions. You might now decide, you know what? I must go to church today. I must go to Abuja today. I must go and enroll in school today. So once you start taking actions, expectedly, when you enroll in school, it means that at the end of the duration or tenure of that school, whether it is a master's degree for 1 year or first degree for 4 years, result will come out. You will have an MSc or you have a BSc, as the case may be. But what he's saying is that with using this link of thought to feelings, feelings to actions, and actions to results, you can go deeper and say that this can be determined by what in sociology is called path dependence. Path dependence means that if you see somebody that was born in a certain place, you can really figure out the kind of career, the kind of life, the kind of outcome that the person will have. So he's saying that what this mental program, what we've passed through, the schools that we went, the kind of background we have, our parental upbringing, the kind of churches that we've attended, or the kind of activity that we've engaged in, we somehow affect our thoughts. And these thoughts will lead to feelings, and these feelings will lead to actions, and actions will lead to results. And I think Pastor alluded to it, and he did a lot. He actually helped me to review the early part of this book by telling us that the way we think determines what happens to us. And he elucidated it using a woman that actually believed that there is no need to have money, or you've been told that there's no need to have money, or you believe that wives should not have money at all. Everything go to your dad, go to the husband. And I think even the book is helping me as well, because my wife read the book and is still reading the book, and it's also very interesting that she's enjoying the book. And I think now she doesn't ask me money the way she normally asked me money before. So the book, you can see that the book is having both internal, it's starting from the family, and is even affecting the way I see things now. And that's why I say that I hope and I wish that I reviewed this book about 5 or 6 or 10 years ago. And that's why he's saying that once you're able to go back and rethink where you're coming from, you should be able to start changing that your mental program. And that's why he's saying that his principle 3 says that money is a result. So how you I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Wealth is a result as well. So it depends on what we do to our mind that will lead to the thoughts, lead to the feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. So he's calling on us and asking us, pleading even, that what we are supposed to do is to go back and rethink the kind of mental programming that we have and use it to now start thinking what we can do to make a better life. And it takes us to principle 7, which says that if your motivation for acquiring money or success comes from a non-supportive root, such as fear, anger, or the need to prove yourself, your money will never bring you happiness. And it now goes to principle 8 and says the only way to permanently change the temperature in the room is to reset the thermostat. In the same way, the only way to change your level of financial success permanently is to reset your financial thermostat. And principle 9 says consciousness is observing your thoughts and actions so that you can live from true choice in the present moment rather than being run by programming from the past. And principle 10 says that you can choose to think in ways that will support you in your happiness and success instead of ways that don't. So what it means is that if we want to be wealthy, if you want to make money, if you want to live a good life, it shouldn't come from fear. It shouldn't come from anger. It shouldn't come from the need to prove yourself. As I was reading the book, it became clear to me that God has actually blessed us with everything that we need. And it also made me to remember the song that says, he's going around doing good, and that his grace is sufficient. And it's left for us to now present our mind, prepare our mind to tap and receive the grace that is abundant and that is moving around, looking for who it will dwell in. And that's principally what this is all about, that we should restart or change our financial thermostat to say, this is the right way to live, this is the right thing to do, and start taking actions that will lead us to where we want to go. And then it takes us to principle 10, which says you can choose to think in ways that will support you in your happiness and success instead of ways that you don't. And it says that money is extremely important in areas in which it works and extremely important in areas in which it doesn't. And it says that when you're complaining, you become a living, breathing crap magnet. And it also says in principle 13 that there's no such thing as really rich victim. All this is more or less trying to paint and to narrate and to encourage us that if we're able to understand and know that we are meant to live a good life, we're meant to live a worthy life, we can now accept to having money, we can now accept that having money is not, some people will say, all these rich people, all this, the way they behave, the way they do, the way they're not, do you know what it takes to make money? If you can you do what it takes to make money? Which we normally hear. But it's telling us that all this is part of what is in our mind. But it's now left for us to change, to rethink, and now accept that this is the right way to go. And if we're able to do it and stop complaining and take responsibility, it means that what we have in our mind will become reality. Because it's also saying that what you ask for is what you receive. And what you demand is what comes to you. This takes us to principle 14. It says, if your goal is to be comfortable, chances are that you will never get rich. But if your goal is to be rich, chances are that you end up likely comfortable. And it says that the number one reason most people don't get what they want is that they don't know what they want. And it says, if you are not fully, totally, or truly committed to creating wealth, chances are that you won't. Interestingly, as I started reading the book, I can confess that some of the things written in the book, I started practicing right away and they started manifesting. So I always say that maybe I was hoping to be comfortable or working hard to be comfortable. But now, I think I've changed my mind. I want to now be very, very rich. In fact, Dangote will not even, I'm aspiring to be richer than Dangote. And somehow, I think as I'm programming my mind, it seems I'm seeing some of the signs that I will be very wealthy. And I believe that practicing what this book says will help me to achieve that. And this takes us to principle 16. It says, if you are not fully, totally, and truly committed to creating wealth, chances are that you won't. So now I'm fully, totally, comprehensively committed to creating wealth because wealth is good. And it's also saying that when you are wealthy, the impact you can have on society, on your family, on everybody that comes across to you will even be better. And in principle 17, it talks about the law of income. It said that you'll be paid in direct proportion to the value you deliver according to the marketplace, which more or less tells us to be the best and to prepare ourselves to be the best. And to, make sure that what you want to be is what you prepare yourself to be. And the way you sell yourself, the way you present yourself is what people take you to be, but you must be prepared. And it takes us to principle 18 that talks about, I've heard about it before, but it talks about Huna philosophy. And Huna philosophy says, bless that which you want. And in my village WhatsApp group, last 2 months, somebody posted something that says that if you want to build a house, that you should go around the village and see those that are building their houses now. And that when you get to any of the construction sites, that you should praise, bless, and be happy with those who are building houses. And that once you do it, that somehow, when you now aspire and want to build a house, that the divine powers and the universe will come to you and support you to build a house. I also remember when I was trying to start building, I didn't have money, but I was encouraged to say that once you start, that divine blessings will come and it will bring the money that will help you to build a house. And that's what Huna philosophy is talking about. So if you want to be a millionaire, you should be happy with those who are rich. If you want to be a medical doctor, you should be happy with those who are medical doctors. It means that we should have a good disposition. We should have a happy disposition. We should be happy with success. We should be happy with progress. We should be happy with creativity, with innovation, with wealth. And it says that leaders earn a heck of a lot more money than followers. And in principle 20 says that the secret to success is not to try to avoid or get rid or shrink from your problems. The secret is to grow yourself so that you are bigger than any problem. And in 21, it says that if you have a big problem in your life, all that means is that you are being a small person. And in 22, it says if you are worthy, you are. If you say you are not worthy, you are not. Either way, you will live into your story. So these principles from 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, it's just more or less encouraging us to believe that we can. It also reminded me the book called The Power of Positive Thinking. It's more or less saying that we should be positive in our life, in our thinking, in our approach to things, and we should think big. There was one advert of a bank. The man says, you can see, the CEO says, you can see, I'm a big boy, I'm a big man. And he says, I drive a big car, and I live in a big house, and I have a big dog, and my son is a big boy, and I run a big bank. So everything about me is big, 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 big. And he said that if you believe that you're big in life, you'll be big. If you believe that you're small in life, you'll be small. And that's what this book is really telling us. And it says that if a 100-foot oak tree had the mind of a human, it will only grow to be 10 feet tall. It also now goes a bit spiritual and says that for every giver, there must be a receiver. And for every receiver, there must be a giver. And that money will only make you more of what you already are. And how you do anything is how you do everything. Which also talks about our inner attitudes, our inner behavior, the way we handle things. And it also reminds us about the power of being grateful, the power of gratitude. That the way you express, the way you do things, more or less influence on that thing that will come to you. And it says, there is nothing wrong with getting a steady paycheck unless it interferes with your ability to earn what you are not. And it says, never have a ceiling on your income. That's principle 28. And he says, rich people believe you can have your cake and eat it too. And middle class people believe cake is too rich, so I will only have a little piece. And he says that poor people don't even believe that they deserve a cake. So sometimes they will order a donut and they will focus on the whole and wonder why they have nothing. So what he's saying in these principles is more or less telling us that we should, let's say, for example, that paying you 1 million. You shouldn't say, oh, this is, I've achieved a lot. 1 million is the maximum I can earn. You should be ambitious, you should be optimistic, you should be open to earn more, and you should work hard to earn more. Because he's saying that there's no limit to what you can earn, because we are each endowed with so much potential, so much blessings, so much everything that God has put in us, that it's left for us to just open up our minds, work towards it, and act towards it, and it will be ours. And but if you have this little mind and behave in little ways and look at things from little way, from a pessimistic way, of course that will be the case as well. And this takes us to principle 30, that the true measure of wealth is net worth, not working income. So you might say that you're earning 1 million or 2 million, and you believe that you're doing well. But it goes beyond that. It goes to say that for you to say that you are wealthy, we must say, okay, what is your net worth? And this net worth might relate to issues like real estate, issues like stocks, issues like other forms of wealth that you have. And when you put all of them together, the question then is, you have them, but are they really working for you? Are they really helping you to achieve better income? Are they really helping you to achieve better life? Are they really helping you to even increase your wealth? Because he says that the rich, which we're going to see as well, the rich always looks at $1 as a means to earn $100. So it's about expansion, it's about increase, the law of increase. And I was talking to somebody, and he told me that life, the way God made this life, is that it's about increase, it's about impact, it's about growth, it's about just, increasing what God has given to us. And that is why you go into research and development and you innovate something. You solve a problem. And as you solve a problem, God will bless you. As you want to, if you are sick, there's something that you can take that will solve your problem, that will solve your ailment. It means that the blessings are there. And that's why he says that in principle 31, that where attention goes, energy flows and results show. And in principle 32, he says, until you show you can handle what you've got, you won't get any more. What it means is that we should, if you want to, I keep emphasizing, this book talks more, not just about work, but about life. That what we pay attention to and determine and commit to it, results will show. And of course, all of us, we can actually give testimonies about what we've achieved and what we've done and how God has helped us. I remember on getting to UK to do my master's, just to buttress what this book is all about. So when I went to Cardiff to do my master's in political economy, and when I finished, I wanted to do a PhD in economics. And they told me, that your first degree is in sociology from University of Lagos, and your master's is in economics. So you didn't really do a first degree in economics. Your master's is in political economy. So you didn't do a first degree in economics, and your master's is not pure economics. They now say that if I really insist that I want to do a PhD in economics, then I must go back and do another PhD in economics and now do another master's in economics. I say, that's all. Is that what the only option I have to do a PhD in economics? They said yes. And I spoke to a few people, my parents and some guardians, and they say that to have a PhD in economics, that once you have it, the results will start showing. That is a worthy something to do, and I should pursue it. I prayed, asked God to help me, and devoted my energy and everything, and went back after doing my first master's to do another PhD. And of course, imagine somebody in UK with no money, with nothing, I just tried to finish one master's degree, and they're now saying, you have to go back and do a PhD and do a second master's before you now start doing a PhD. And when I spoke to one of my friends, he asked me, he said, is your dad a politician? And if he's a politician, he must be a very, very, very influential politician. Maybe a minister, maybe a governor, maybe a senator, as the case may be, or maybe a very rich man. And I said, none of them, that my parents are teachers. He now said, okay, he doesn't understand what I'm talking about, how I want to do this. But of course, I put in the energy, I put in the commitment, and I finished the PhD, did the second master's. And as they said, divine blessings will come and intervene and help you to achieve what you want to achieve. I enrolled for the PhD. And interestingly, upon doing my PhD, my supervisor had a brain hemorrhage. Very unfortunate. And they told me I couldn't continue because there was no other person who can supervise me in that area. So I had to go to another school, to Dundee, University of Dundee, to start another PhD. I started the PhD. We wanted the data from Nigeria, and he said the data can only be got, can only get it from some specific areas in Nigeria. So we applied, and they sent us the data. Surprisingly, when we tested the data, it was fake. It wasn't genuine. So my supervisor said that he will not continue with the supervision because I have a fake data and it's synonymous with what comes from Nigeria. And he stopped supervising me. So I now said, should I come back to Nigeria after staying all these years in the UK without a PhD? I now returned back to Manchester and prayed and asked God, you started this journey with me and you must end it on a good note. Surprisingly, within 2 days, somebody told me that the University of Manchester is offering a PhD in law and economics of regulation. And I was doing a PhD focusing on banking. And I went to the dean of the law school, who is an economist in Manchester, and I asked him that I want to do a PhD. He said I should go and rewrite my proposal. I told him I don't want to rewrite any proposal, that if he wants to give me admission, he should give me admission. And once I get admission, I will now start writing the proposal. But I was already frustrated. The man was surprised at how audacious I was and how serious I was talking to him as a small student, talking to a dean of a law school, who is a very, very famous economist who they brought to Manchester to reform Manchester. Anyway, to cut the story short, he gave me admission and I finished the PhD with a distinction. And it was just a testimony that once you're committed and you pray to God, divine powers and divine blessings will come and results will show. And that result has been showing since I finished my PhD. And the next principle says the habits, until you show that you can handle what you've got, you won't get any more. And as I've been handling the little ones that God has blessed me, I can also say that it's been blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings. And principle 13 says the habit of managing your money is more important than the amount. And that is true. If you manage your money well, you will be surprised at the way the money will even increase. And it says either you control money or it will control you. And it says that in principle 35, that rich people see every dollar as seed that can be planted to earn $100 more, which can then be replanted to earn $1,000 more. And that's exactly how money works from my little experience. But now that I'm determined and committed to be a billionaire, I am already seeing that is going to work and I will be a billionaire. Maybe in some years, I believe that Dr. Tomi will invite me again to review my own experience of becoming a billionaire, because she has already sowed the seed in me by giving me this book.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's been really, the book is an extraordinary book. A lot of people said they had read it twice, they had read it 3 times, even before I started reading it at the time. And I'm like, wow, just introducing the book on the platform and extremely insightful. And hearing you speak tonight, I mean, I knew I was going to hear wonderful things, so to speak, for lack of another word to use. Basically, the book talking about money blueprints, and even as you've been speaking, I was jotting down a few things. And one of the things that the author actually said is that if you want to change the fruits, you will have to first of all change the roots. And if you want to change the visible, you must change the invisible. So everything actually more or less starts within us. We've read a lot of books, whether leadership, motivation, health, everything. And everything we read about actually points to the fact that everything starts inside of us. And we have to be prepared, like you said, for what we want to be. And I like that example that you gave, that if you want to build a house, that's you went to a construction site or something like that, and that we need to be happy with those that are building houses, and somehow the universe will actually support us and we'll build our own house. So it doesn't have to be just a house. I mean, but I understand the principle behind what you've just said, and you're absolutely spot on, which is why when I met you, Prof, you said that I am always harassing you and disturbing you. I can't let you go. With that profile that you have that I read, I'm sure everybody will be like, whoa. So for me too, I looked at you. I'm always happy to, engage with you, to speak with you, and to even have you here this evening. And then I used to dream that one day I will lecture, I'll be an author, I will be a doctor, I'll be a professor, I will be lecturing at the Lagos Business School. And you see now, Prof, today, where am I? Part-time facilitator at the Lagos Business School. So it is true that indeed you need to really aspire for what you want. And you need to look at other people, be happy for them, engage them rather than resent them. That's another thing. So yes, I can never resent Prof. Prof, thank you very much. And truly, one thing again is that the measure of wealth, which is our net worth, is our network, our social capital. That's one of the things that actually jumped at me while I was reading the book, because definitely social network is important. If I wasn't networking, if there was no social network towards what I wanted to achieve, I would never have met Prof. And Prof will not be here today to come and give us his own, insights about this book. So thank you very much, Prof. I don't know if you're done, right?
No, just to round up.
Exactly. So I just thought, before you round up. So, so it's really been insightful. And I said, okay, Prof must come, so trying to rub minds and learn more again from, your wealth of experience and just generally hear from you. So thank you, even as you go on, sir. I just wanted to chip that in when you pointed at me, or you wanted me to say something at the time. So thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much. And this takes us to principle 36 that says action is the bridge between the inner world and the outer world. All the things that we have in our mind, if we don't take action, it will not work. And it's more or less asking us to, as we live here, as we finish today, some of us have already started taking action, are already seeing the results. But some of us that have not started taking actions, I encourage you and implore you to take action. As it says, it's the bridge between what you have in your mind and the outer world. And principle 37 says, a true warrior can tame the cobra of fear. So, and it says that the rich people, even when there is a lot of uncertainty and this and fear, they always take a step further by taking action. And it is not necessary to get rid of fear in order to succeed. It means that even with the challenge that we have, many people will be complaining about Nigeria, about issues and all that. But still, is it a good place to invest? Yes, it is. Are there opportunities? Yes, there are. And that's what this book is telling us. And one of my colleagues sent out a tweet. He says that as many Nigerians are leaving the country, going to different parts of the world, Canada, UK, US, that the Lebanese are celebrating that they have over 75,000 Lebanese now. The same thing with Indians. That it means that there are certain things that are seen that we Nigerians are not seeing. So while Lebanese and Indians are coming into Nigerians are leaving the country. It's now saying that there's something here that these people are seeing, which we Nigerians are not seeing. It means that some of us are living out of fear, out of this, that we should actually not be guided by fear. And this takes us to principle 39. It said, if you are willing to do only what is easy, life will be hard. But if you are willing to do what is hard, life will be easy. It means we should do the right things. Now, some of them might be difficult, but of course, once we're able to do it, results will start showing. And that means that life will be a lot easier. And principle 40 says, every time you're actually growing is when you are uncomfortable. That means that we shouldn't be comfortable with our current situation. We should actually keep thinking on how to improve, unless we become billionaires, unless we become millionaires. Even when we become millionaires and billionaires, there are so many other things that we can do, that we can use to improve life, impact life, and all that. And that takes us to the issue of training and managing your own mind. It's the most important skill you could ever own in terms of both happiness and success. And principle 42 says that you can be right, or you can be rich, but you can be both. And principle 43 says that every master was once a disaster. And even if we fail, it shouldn't be a reason why we don't want to continue to progress, where we continue to make effort as the case may be. And the last principle is to get the best, you must be the best, which I've emphasized. So if we look at these 44 principles, and to just round up, I will just highlight some takeaways from this book, which will help us to, even if we've not read the book, we should be able to have good understanding of some of the things that we are supposed to be doing, which I've already enumerated. So from the 17 wildfires, it says that rich people believe I can create life. Poor people believe life happens to me. So, and that's why they say that our destiny. And somebody posted, I think it was somebody that said that something like yesterday, something happened, but today, that is in our hands, that we should actually take responsibility about what happens to us and make sure that we pursue it with the right vigor, determination, as the case may be. And he said that rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game not to lose. So this is some of the takeaways. So if you take it to the third file, it says rich people are committed to being rich, and poor people people want to be rich. So you must show commitment to be rich, not just that you just want to be rich. And then, of course, the difference between commitment and want is that the kind of actions you take when you're committed is completely different from the kind of actions you take when you just want. When you're committed to be rich, of course, nobody will tell you what to do. Even people will see that you are committed and you are becoming. The way some people come and market to you to buy a property, or the way Tommy insisted, coerced and forced me to do this review, shows commitment to the book club. It shows commitment to make the society a better place. And that's the kind of commitment we are supposed to give when we want to be rich and when we want to impact people. And you must think big, as I said before, and as poor people always think small. And also that you must focus on opportunities, because poor people normally focus on obstacles. When you talk to them, they will only give you 10 reasons why it shouldn't be the case. As I said, I was seeing the opportunities of doing a PhD in law and economics. My friend was seeing the obstacles that will make me not to do the PhD. But as the book is saying, once we focus on opportunities, the obstacles even becomes more opportunities for us. And it even makes us to completely remove the fear. And rich people admire other rich people, as I said, but people resent rich people and successful people. So we shouldn't be resenting people. We should be happy with success and progress. And rich people also associate with positive, successful people. Poor people associate with negative and not successful people. And rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. And poor people think negatively about selling and promotion. So you should be careful the kind of people we relate with. We should look for people that are positive, that are thinking big, that are thinking progress, not people who are thinking negative most of the time. And define number 9, that rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. There are certain things that sometimes you want to eat something, as the book mentioned, you now start telling them to bring the price list and all that. But rich people eat what they want to eat. And it's also saying that if we do what we're supposed to do, we should be able to be bigger than most of the problems that we face in life. And it also says that rich people are excellent receivers and poor people are poor receivers. And rich people also, as we saw, choose to get paid based on results, and poor people choose to get paid based on time. And you can see this even in our private life, in our corporate life, in our business life. The result that we deliver determines a lot what we get paid, not the time you spend. Because if we're talking about the time, people who are doing working in our markets, people who are doing some odd jobs, who almost work from morning till night, they don't get paid as the people who even work 2 hours or 1 hour because of the result that they deliver. So it depends on what we put in ourselves that will determine what we get and what we get paid. And rich people believe that they can be right and they can be rich, but people also always think that is either one that they can pick from. So because of time, let me just try to summarize that the rich people focus on their network, as I said before, while the poor people focus on their net income. And file number 14 said that rich people manage their money well, poor people mismanage their money. And rich people have their money work hard for them, and poor people work hard for them. And rich people have their money work hard for them in terms of the kind of investment that they make. Some people might say, until before I start buying stocks, before I start doing real estate, I must be very rich. But it doesn't happen like that. Irrespective of what you earn or what you have, you can start small. And it's saying that once you start small, the universe will know that your basket is not yet full, and it will help the basket to get filled. And as I said, we mustn't use fear to determine what we want to do. And rich people, we must constantly learn and grow. Because most of the time, if we start thinking that we already know, it means that we are acting like a poor person. Because rich people are constantly learning and growing. And that is the reason why when Tomi introduced this book to us, it's clear that most of us read the book voraciously and even looking forward to reading the book and even other books that we've introduced. So because we keep learning, because we want to be rich, we want to be wealthy, we want to impact the society, and we want to make the place a better place. So going through this book has more or less opened my eyes to so many things. And I really encourage all of us not just to read this book, but to make sure that we give this book to at least 10 people to read. Because if we do, we are making the society a better place. We are making Nigeria a better place. We're making our family a better place. We're making life a better place. So on this note, I say a big thank you to all of you for inviting me, to Tomi, to Pastor Itua, and to the book club. And let me also say that I've invited over 10 people to be members of this book club because it's impactful and it's positive. So thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. The floor will be open now to questions or comments, but I'll just make one or two references to what you've said, and just to reiterate a few things. And not one major thing again that stuck out for me while reading, especially in part one, just like Prof said, and even when Pastor Itua gave the introduction, he talked about the negative programming. So there are some things that, I mean, in our heads, and it's as a result of our backgrounds or how we grew up, or things that we met along the line that actually are not really right for us, obviously. So we need to forget, we need to erase those things, the negative programming that we would have received. But the first thing for us is to even know that we have received or that we have gotten that negative programming over time, so that we can change it. And I like principle 43 that Prof actually mentioned. I think that's the second to the last principle. And he said something very germane. He said, every master was once a disaster. You know, the rhythm, in fact, it rhymed so well that it stuck to me, that every master was once a disaster. So it struck something in me, because sometimes I want to do something, or I've started something, but I'll probably stop along the line thinking it might not go well, or I might not achieve, or that goal might not be attained. But the truth is that no matter the stumbling blocks, or no matter the ups and downs that we may come across in trying to achieve a goal, no matter what, we should still soar on, as long as our mindset, what we have in our minds, we set to achieve. So that helps really with the money blueprint that the author has been talking about. Because if we don't set our minds to what our goals, how then can we really achieve it? How then do we want to be thinking we can be master of what we really want to do? So forget about negative programming is what I'm saying. Let's forget about whatever disasters may have come along the line, or stumbling blocks, as they call them. We should look at them as stepping stones. There will always be challenges in issues of life, in every facet of our lives. But how do we surmount those challenges? We have to soar on. So yeah, and again, it's a fantastic book. If you've not read it, it's an opportunity for us to read it. I mean, from what we've heard this evening, it's an eye-opener. I was just responding to some of the chats in the chat room. Even Chief Antitolu Igodalo actually mentioned that she's going to gift like 4 people the book. She's buying the book for them. And I mean, it's a very good gift for anybody, because for all of us, the sky is big enough for everybody to fly. So I mean, for as many people that can build wealth, the better it is for all of us, especially in this economy, multiple streams of income, and just soaring higher. So thank you once again, Prof. I'm not about to do another book review, as I always say. So the floor is actually open now, and we'll just take some comments, some questions. And thank you. You kept to time. You had 50 minutes, and you did exactly 50 minutes. So fantastic. Thank you, Prof. We really appreciate you. Sorry for all the stress that I put you through. But hey, we are here now, and I know that, we're going to have a fantastic evening. Prof, I can't thank you enough. So the floor is open. I can see some hands already raised, and I'd like to call on Mr. Ken Okochu. You can unmute, and your comments or your questions, Prof would answer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Many thanks, Prof, for a job well done. Your review was thorough, very insightful and impactful. Thank you so very much. God bless you. I'll also like to commend Dr. Tomi and your team for cooking this very impactful review session. My question really is, for people who are, discouraged as a result of setbacks in business, apart from analyzing what went wrong and making adjustment, what else can what else can they do to forestall a reoccurrence and then achieve their financial goals, Prof? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ken. Will it be better to take maybe 2 questions, or should we be doing it one? Or what? What do you think?
Okay, let me check if there are other hands raised now. Please go on with this one first. Please go on, sir. Thank you, Prof.
Ken, just to understand, your question is for those that have tried and had issues and maybe depressed. Is that correct?
Yes, discouraged.
Yes. What else can they do?
Yes.
I think that there's something I was discussing with a friend and something that we are trying to do. To say, if somebody is bereaved or if somebody has experienced a misfortune, most of the time we normally believe that maybe it's only us that something like that has happened to. But what I've discovered is that by the time you speak to few people or some people that have passed through different challenges and come out or get re-energized and become successful, we normally draw a lot of inspiration from them. And that is why you find out that when somebody is bereaved and people come and be gisting with you and tell you, X, Y, Z, this, so. So let me explain with them. My friend lost the mom, and she was very, very, very depressed, sad, and all that. So one evening she was crying. She remembered somebody crying. Surprisingly, somebody walked in and said that she just returned from burying the mom and the dad, and both of them died in an accident. And instantly, my friend that lost the mom was a bit surprised that somebody who lost both parents can actually come and visit her, to commiserate with her and to condole her. So for those who are discouraged, I believe that it is more or less to look for areas of where you can draw inspiration. And to also, maybe it's something we can also look at to start having maybe a website or a place or where people can go through what people have passed through in life. Because there's something they say in my village. Somebody was complaining that he has a lot of problems, that what he's carrying is so heavy on him. So when he finished, somebody smiled and said that, do you know that if they give me this, your problems and this, your load, that I will carry it and I will not even put my hands on them, that I will just start working freely with my two hands. So what he was indicating was that what the man was saying was too small compared to what he himself is passing through. And this kind of we draw inspiration by relating with people that have passed through different issues, that have succeeded. And if you read all successful people, as the book stated, you find out that they passed through different challenges, and you will understand. So I wouldn't want to use myself as an example, because some people might say maybe I'm using myself too much. But we've all passed through very difficult periods. But once you're committed to success, once you're committed to impact, once you're committed to a better society, you somehow, the divine powers will help you to open up opportunities for you to draw inspiration. But I think that we can also be more strategic of saying you are not alone. Maybe opening up a repository or a website or a group where people with challenges in different aspects of life can actually come and draw inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Okay, like you said, let me see how many hands are raised, but I think everyone is raising their hands one after the other. Okay, we'll take PD. Please kindly unmute.
Good evening, all. Prof, we want to thank you so very much. For some of us who have not even read this book, in fact, we are totally fulfilled as though we have read it. one of the inferences I got from the principles as you outlined these principles, and for me, it serves as a great level of encouragement, but throwing light to some of the principles or some of the sayings that we get from scriptures, but they're being put in different ways. Because for almost all the principles, you could actually have a Bible reference point for all of this. And I think, I don't know whether it was also deliberate on your part that you didn't actually synchronize that. And I can understand that, because of course, there might be people from other faiths in the club. But I think it's a good point. And even riding on the first question that was asked, it's actually a source of inspiration and encouragement for some of us who are in the faith to see that, yes, on one hand, we're not quoting scriptures, but the principles of success regarding of wealth, as elaborated by the author, is practically riding on the principles of scriptures. I just thought I should say a very big thank you for this book review. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Just to say something, you know that I totally agree with you that you can link all this to the Bible, but you know also that we have a pastor in the house. So I was trying to maintain my area of jurisdiction, not to deviate and go into pastor, but you're very, very right that it's all the Bible. But as I was reading the book, I was seeing the Bible. I didn't quote the Bible directly, so not to be, because they've not ordained me as a pastor, but I was quoting it. I was paraphrasing it very well. But I totally agree with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Minister Duke. We appreciate that. Indeed, at some points, I think Prof even mentioned something scriptural, actually. So maybe we'll ordain you a pastor before this book review is over, sir. Okay, so we're going to take, let me see. Okay, so we have Mr. Chris Amaji. You can please unmute and make your comment or ask your question, sir.
Okay, good evening all. Thank you, Dr. Tommy, for following up on the group. You're always dropping something to keep us active, keep reminding us, and that really encouraged me so much to know that I have an accountability partner. Thank you for being my accountability partner in this journey. Thank you, Prof, for coming in, and thank you for giving us clarity on this book. Prof, I saw something that was World 5, rather with 8, with about 5.8, that says rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Poor people think negatively about selling and promotion. Prof, I would like you to talk a bit on this, because I know there are many of us here, we do into business, but that boldness, that audacity to market what we are doing to get more lead are not there. As some of us leave everything in the hand of God, there is an adage in my place that good products sell itself. But I discovered that in the real life, bad products are selling more, because most people who do bad products market it more than those who have good products. Please, Prof, I would like you to talk more on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. Let me start with what you said, that bad products sell more than good products. We did a small research, and we are looking at the financial sector, and we looked at some financial institutions that started at a certain point. And many of them that started at that point, when we did the graph, when they started, some of them that were actually doing the right thing, following the rules, trying to have proper corporate governance, trying to comply with all the regulations and rest of them. At the initial stages, their profitability was not very good, was not as good as compared to other banks. And at that time, some people would say, can't you see what this bank A is doing? Can't you see what this institution is doing? But gradually, the banks that were complying, that were doing the right thing, somehow, they took over from the banks that were not doing the right thing. And today actually, they've remained more sustainable. They've remained more reliable as compared to the other banks that were more or less trying to achieve everything in the short term, who we can say we are selling bad things because they wanted to make good money. So in answer to that, I will say that doing the right thing might not give you immediate gratification, it might not give you immediate benefits, but will it give you long-lasting, sustainable benefits? Yes, it will. And that has been proven with many people, with many institutions, as the case may be. Once you do things to last, there is a book called Built to Last. And once you do the right thing, it might not come immediately, but I can guarantee from my experience, I can also testify that it provides lasting benefits, lasting impacts, and lasting results that will even outlive even the founders or the initial people that started it. So with regards to rich people willing to promote themselves, you find out that most of the time, people have issues with selling and promotion, and usually those that you might say are not very, they have fear, and they have a kind of a disposition that maybe it's not the right thing to do. But if you see those who have worked very hard and who actually succeeded through commitment, through doing the right thing, they're always happy to share their stories. They're always happy to promote what they're doing. They're always happy for people to learn from them. They're always happy to make, because the essence of what they're doing is not really about just how to make money. It's about creating impact. It's about creating a better society. So they are willing to promote their products and services with enthusiasm, and because they are creating value. And if you believe in value, then it will not be right to hide it from people that need it. But if you are not creating value, you will be a bit reluctant to show that value that you have for a disease or something. You wouldn't hide it from people who are suffering from that disease, because that is what is required. That's the essence of the discovery that you've made. That's the essence of the value that you've created. So that is the reason why most people who are genuine, let me not say genuine, who are wealthy and who are rich and their wealth came from, something that is value creating. They're always happy to promote what they're doing. They're always happy for people to learn from them. They're always happy to sell what they're doing. So because it's about impact, it's about creating a better society, as compared to those who are not creating value, who will now be a bit reluctant, and who might not actually be rich as well. I hope that is helpful, Chris.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So it's from value. It's about value. I also saw a note that, sorry, just to mention, Chief Tolu Igodalo said that the book is $23.90 each. I think the book is cheaper in Nigeria.
I agree.
Because I saw it a lot cheaper in Nigeria as compared to US or UK as the case may be. So maybe because this $23, this $24, or 24 pounds actually, not even dollars. This 24 pounds can actually buy about 5 copies in Nigeria, or more than 5 copies.
Yeah,
From
with
what
the
I
exchange rate.
right. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much. Let me check if we have any more hands raised or if there are any more comments. I was just trying to look at the chat room as well. So yes, it's been a fantastic evening, I must say. And we truly appreciate everybody that took time out to attend the book review. It is really a book we must all read, you know. And I'm glad that we already said we'll get copies. I've seen messages in the chat room and even private messages to my phone that everybody that are yet to read the book, they want to read the book. I mean, the title alone, it's very catchy, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. It's really, really, it's an eye-opener. So thank you very much once again, Prof. It's been a fantastic evening. And at the beginning of the session, I gave a brief overview of TRI-METROPOLITAN Book Club. I'm not about to do that right now, but I know some people joined a little late, and it's just to let you know that this is a book club that you should be part of. I've put some numbers in the chat room, and so that if you want to join the book club, you can join almost immediately. It's an open book club for any gender, any race, any religion. It's just like our church. The TRI-METROPOLITAN Book Club is actually an initiative of Trinity House. And like I mentioned earlier, Trinity House is a non-denominational free-flow worship center. And I mean, all we are about is changing lives, fulfilling destinies, and transforming nations. So thank you once again, everybody. Would like for you to attend any of our services if you can. Tomorrow, for instance, we have the Couples Sunday. The theme is Solid as a Rock for couples, and of course for singles alike. And our host, of course, as usual, is our senior pastor, Pastor Ito Igodalo. And we have a guest, Dr. Leonard Okonkwo, and of course, Pastor BC Adewale, who will be speaking to us, speaking to more of marriage and couples and a whole lot of that. So we invite you to come tomorrow at 9 a.m. We have our midweek services at 6 o'clock. So it'll be nice for you to pop in and come and worship with us. So once again, we appreciate you. We love you and we thank you once again for coming this evening. The book reviews actually are once in a month, like I mentioned at the very beginning. Usually we have the book reviews on the 3rd Saturday of the month, but sometimes it could be the 4th Saturday, just like today, depending on logistics and depending on the guest as well. So every month, really, we have a book review that cuts across leadership, motivational, health, and all of that, religious books as well. So once again, thank you. We really appreciate you. We've gotten some messages already that you want to join the book club, and my colleagues who we work together are already putting you on the platform. So thank you, and I can assure you that you're going to have a very wonderful time being part of the TRI-METROPOLITAN Book Club. So once again, without too much talk, we've heard enough this evening. We'd like to really say thank you to Pastor Itoa. I think Pastor Itoa is still here. I'm not sure. Pastor Itoa, thank you very much for your love, for your care.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done, Tommy. Thank you, Prof, for that wonderful book review. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Prof. I'll be in touch with you. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. Details of the next book review will be on the platform. We have over 200 members, and we are happy to have you as well. So good night, and God bless everyone. Thank you very much.